All right, welcome back. Welcome back. You are still tuned in to Fantastic Fridays here on New Salt 93 FM. And from you hear that song, you know what time it is. It is time for Talk the Ting with Kim. And as I said, this is part 3 of our discussion this week. It is the men versus the woman. We do have a few persons running a little late, but that is fine. We're still gonna get into it. Listen, it's gonna be a hot conversation. And listen, as I tell them every single time, don't take it personally. So I don't want nobody else say, listen, me not do them something there. Represent your gender, right? Think about the other perspectives that they, whatever mindset they may have, and yeah, just try to answer to the best of your ability. We already know it's not you. So don't take it personal. No fighting. No fighting. All right, so we're gonna get into it. I'm just gonna ask you guys to introduce yourself. Just tell the listeners in Radio Land who they're listening to. So we're gonna start with the lovely lady to my right. I like it. So that's Bree, and we also have
Tajay Gardner.
All right, Tajay Gardner. Tajay said, "Listen, I don't want to mix up me with another Tajay, so we can also say Tajay Gardner that one here be, all right." And then the soft, lovely voice you heard was Bree, So, all right, so we're gonna get into it. And one of the questions I'm going to ask Mr. Fresh Concept to keep track of the live. If it is that you have any questions out there in Radioland, feel free to drop them on our Instagram live at Funtastic 93 FM. Or you can send a message via WhatsApp at 876-792-3530. All right, so we're going to start with a hot question. It's a very hot question. And I want to know, that question is hot. I would like to know, and I'm starting with Tajay.
Jeez.
Yeah. Tajay, for what are your views, and, by extension, men's views on dating someone older or younger than you?
That one.
Tajay, the hot one, How do you feel about dating a woman? All right, for men, I think it's usually the whole older, because younger, I don't think they have a problem in the world. Dating older women, what do you feel about that?
Well, you can just say, what's your view on age when it comes to dating?
When it comes to dating.
Whether higher or lower, if you have a preference or, what seems right to you or what seems weird or,
Definitely. Everyone has their type.
Yeah.
But for me, I think once you're over 20, everyone is an adult, and it just depends on what you're looking for, really and truly. Because, you're probably looking for someone who is mature, who have the life start out a certain way.
Yeah.
Or you're trying to look for someone who you're trying to build with. So it depends on what you want. Of course, you're not going to, overdo it. But definitely, age is just a number for me.
All right.
Okay.
And do you think there, for the average man, inclusive of yourself, is there a limit when it comes to the age gap?
Yes.
What's your limit?
My limit is 30.
All right. So you're not going to date anybody right now who's past 30.
Who's past 30.
Okay, that's fair.
So if you get like a sugar mama,
no, you don't want a sugar there.
No,
all right.
That's fine because some people, depends on the type of relationship. But him said not even, I'm not interested. Okay.
All right. And what about you, Miss Bree? What do you think about age when it comes to dating?
Well, for me, I'm not looking to start scratch with anybody. I'm not looking to start from scratch with anyone. So For me, I typically go for guys a decade older than my age.
Man, may know about black and white TV.
No, listen. Whoever never know what decade I want to go, just go Google it. So no, have a chance.
Why does
them a Google it?
Like 100?
Listen, them a Google it to see them have a chance at Brie, right? So yes, he said usually at least a decade older.
Yeah.
And why is that?
I'm looking for stability, a little bit more experience. Listen, I don't want me broke no cornbread and say no say I not have it right now. I don't want to go through all of that. You know, I want you to at least have more than me. I'm going to catch up where you are, you know, but just
10 years time. I get you. I get what you're saying. Ladies are usually, I guess, as Kim said earlier, the younger ones in the relationship. I guess that the same protective kind of thing that the ladies look for or that the guys provide.
Yeah.
That's usually the case, you know, provider, protector. So usually protect somebody who's probably even smaller or younger. You know?
But you know, it's funny because as we said, it's always the whole taboo conversation about men dating older women and women not being willing to date younger men, but then you do have men dating older women. So there are some women out there who are dating younger men, you know. But it's just a whole taboo conversation. And I mean, overall, age not really matter. As I said, once you're an adult, it's fair game. Love who you want to love. But don't make nobody try, you know, force you into their box of thinking. So if Bree's at 10 years, yeah, to make sure if I've got to try change the birth certificate or something before and I approach Bree, yeah, that's no, listen. You know what, you better drop your blocking pen a while ago and go for the birth certificate and change the 91 to 85 and them up there, right? And that is fine. Everybody, as them say, every what? Me not like that word like it's sound. I mean I say who I want to say. every who I'm gonna tick up bush. I'm always careful what I say because nobody misconstrue. But alright, so on that note then, we're starting with Bree on this one.
So I know what about your view, Kim, as a lady?
Oh, for me, alright, so my perspective has changed. And my perspective changes with age, right? When I was younger, especially like when I was in high school and stuff, I did not like the fact that you had girls dating men, right? I just never, for me, it just wasn't right, right? And for me, it was the biggest turn off when no man used to call to me, right? Because me in a uniform, what you call to me for, right? And you go work at the time, and me I go to school, like, what you call to me for, right? So that was my perspective then, and it still is my perspective on that part of things. Then when I started, you know, reach young adult now, I had a maximum of like, I never really want nobody more than 5 years older than me, to be honest.
Your limit was
25. Yeah, 25, right. 21, 26, 20, yeah, you know? And I was like, in my mind, once again, it was the whole thing of I don't think you should be too much older. But then as I get older, I get to understand it's not so much the age gap, because regardless of whatever age you are, maturity ranges. Sometimes when it ranges, it don't come with the age automatically. Because you do have some young guys who are so mature, like, you don't know, wooden bike, almost buy them bike, because they've not lived long enough yet for mature, right? Right? But then you have some men as well, they've been around for a while, and I think they miss every maturity class. Right? Like, they must not grow, right? So for me, it has changed, and it's really just make sure the person makes sense. Whatever them age is, whether them younger than you or them older than you, make sure the person makes sense. And that's where my stance is.
That's true.
Outside the high school and big man thing, we still don't support that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just make sure the person makes sense.
Love is love.
Yeah, love is love.
I agree with you. I agree with you as well, Kim. As I said, with the whole schooling thing, I think if you're
that used to turn me off,
in a high school, date somebody in a high school.
You know, talk to your guy, you know, a lunch money, but talk
you know,
to him.
You're dating, you know, you're finding a friend.
Yeah.
Who's really a company, a friend.
Yeah.
I think once it's outside of that range, if you probably under 17 and you're dating somebody over 20, I think that's just crazy.
Yeah.
That's more of a parenting relationship at that point. But once the person has officially become an adult, we're not talking about consent here, we're talking about the age of 18.
Yes, adult.
Right. I think they know that person would have whether it's 1 year experience, but at least a bit of experience to say, okay, I am now on my own, or I'm making plans to be on my own. So they'll be able to make a decision, I would say, as Kim said, within about a 5 years range, 6, you can kind of think about, dating somebody outside of that range, 5 or so. And then as you probably get now above 20, you can set up.
Then you have a bigger range. If you all want to go 50, it's fine. 30 years gap, your business.
Yeah, it's about the mindset and the range. 20 dating 50, I'd say that's crazy.
It happens.
As I say, it depends on the person's lifestyle,
And make sure the person makes sense.
Yeah.
Right? That's just the main thing.
What you want to avoid in those type of relationships is when the younger person is looking more of a parent, then you know that's not the right type of relationship for a partner, for a couple. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or when the older person is looking for, or you call them, somebody for baby up.
Yeah, basically somebody to take care of, and they feel important because they're taking care of you.
I'm older than you, so you have to do this and do that. That's not a couple relationship.
And usually, to be honest, as much as we probably don't want to highlight this, but usually there's a power struggle when you do have that age gap. At some point.
When there's a struggle, that means something is not right. Yeah.
It may not happen every day. It may not happen from early. But at some point, eventually, let's say we do agree on something, the person who's older is going to feel like, listen, you just not... You know, in a sense, because I've been there, It's that it will come up in relationships, as I said, not intentionally, but I think there's always going to be, at some point, a power struggle at different instances.
As Cardi says on the WhatsApp line, personally, I don't think age is a big thing as long as you are responsible, respectful, and mature. So, that's it at the end of the day, As I say, you'll pick up on the trend when the age is becoming an issue, and that's what you want to avoid. Usually you want to find people that are peers, counterparts. You want to find people that are like-minded. And the age would help you to do that, but it's not the only thing.
It's not the only thing. Yeah, because you can have an age gap and you get along with the person way better than anybody in your age group. So it works out. It just turns out to be the type of person the person is.
Who you are together.
So what I want to know now, and I was going to start with Bree.
What's going on?
Yes, I'm going back there. Bree, how do you feel about dating a man with kids? I remember saying, you said 10-year gap as well, so there's a bigger chance that he comes with a child.
Or 2.
Definitely. They normally do have children.
They normally? Oh, so
they normally have children. It gets a bit tricky because sometimes, I want to leave that part. But I'm
I'm interested in the partner. But we'll make it done. I want the partner too.
But it's fine if they have children. I don't mind. Just be very honest with the situation, because I don't want it to be a case where you're still with your partner. You probably live with your partner and you want to start something with me that don't make no sense. But I don't have a problem if they have children.
All right. And how you feel about the stepmother role?
No, I'm not going to be a stepmother.
So you don't mind to have kids, but you're not going to be a
no.
So how that work though? So you don't think that the child is gonna be
that's fine.
But you don't think the child is gonna be included at some point?
I'm a child too.
Alright, I want some more perspectives on this, especially that statement here. And we do have some lovely faces joining us in studio. Alright, we're gonna add another cheer as well. Alright, I'm gonna ask that you introduce yourself, just your first name, and say good evening to the listeners.
Yeah.
And just project, because we also have the live over there going on. So you can go ahead.
Good evening, I'm Naya.
Alright, Naya. Alright, and then beside Naya we have?
I'm Helado.
Repeat?
Helado.
Alright, nice. So guess what? We're gonna come in a hot topic. And I'm gonna continue with what Bree did say, because the match now match what Bree just said a while ago, but soon go back to the part there. So firstly, I want to know, and we're gonna go to Tajay, because we're giving the time for us to know where we're there, the conversation. Tajay, how do you feel dating someone with kids?
Seeing that you don't have any at this time.
Right. We're going to move with that much.
I mean, probably if you have your child already, it might be different,
Right.
Listen, may I bring up some issues that Tajay experienced outside the studio?
The question is more stronger if for somebody who don't have a child.
someone with kids.
No?
You're not ready for that, right?
No, because it's gonna take a while to really understand the person. And you know, when people have children, they change.
Yeah.
I don't know you good
Before,
enough, right?
okay.
So it's go hard for me if you just jump in and say, alright, you know, so I don't care for your offspring with. I don't mind.
Okay.
It's go rough for me.
Yeah.
I'm just a bit honest.
And that's fair. No, we love the honesty, but that's the reality.
If people do that little option that you do there in relationships, it will save us half the time. Energy. Can you handle this? Yes or no? If you're not able to handle this,
and don't
take it up.
pretend. And don't pretend.
Yeah,
right?
don't take it up.
But I want to ask Helado, because you see, I'm going to ask the question Helado, I didn't open a little wider, you know, like I said, well, I never prepare for the part, you know. So, Helado, what do you think? How do you feel about dating a female that has kids?
You know, my current state now, me that said no, I wouldn't, but I'm not opposed to the idea. If I'm financially able to handle it, then sure.
Alright, so financial stability is a part of you making that decision. Alright. And is there like an age limit, like the kid, if the child too young or too old, or, you know?
Depends. Like, I mean, I'm young, like 20 years old.
Yeah.
I wouldn't date someone with a 6-year-old child.
That's fair.
A young baby, then definitely.
Okay, that's fair. So what about you, Naya? How do you feel dating a man? Would you date a man with kids?
I don't think so. Personally. The only way I can see myself doing that is if I get to speak to his baby mother. If I can't, I'm not doing it. Because at the end of the day, it's her child, not mine.
Yeah.
And my role is not to take her place. That's her place.
True.
You understand?
Yeah.
However, the man now and I have something going on separate to the child. So she still needs to be able to have a space in that child's life because that is their maiden mother.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be your mother, but if you want to call me your mother, I'm open to it. But I think it's more important to build a relationship with the mother first, or maybe mother first, and then the child second.
But then I want to touch on that point because we know people very mix up and blend up, right? And we know sometimes exes do try to create problems. So you might want to talk to the baby mother, and the baby mother is longing to have this person back, and then they're just gonna create problems and tell stories. And how do you sift through what is true and what isn't true?
And you see, now that is why I probably would not date a man.
But that's crazy, though.
I feel like personally, I would not even find myself in a situation with a person who cannot be honest.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
Because in what sense does it make? You know? At the end of the day, if you know that you had an ex who was dishonest, automatically I'm not even going to further that. Because then I'm not sitting there wasting my time, because at that age I'll be possibly considering that. I don't have time to be sitting down here asking a next woman about what your history and what your history is.
Yeah.
That to me, that is unacceptable. So for me personally, if I know that your relationship with her is good, then I'm willing to
talk to her and get to know.
But if y'all's relationship is, I don't really like her, we don't really talk like that, and or you always have something defensive to say about her, I'm most likely not going to further it.
Yeah,
I like that.
But that's crazy, though. Because me strongly believe you can't love the cow and don't love the calf.
So that was a part of what I wanted to say, because we're not replacing the mother, but at the end of the day, the child is a part now of the relationship, because it's a part of the partner, right? And it can't. It's like, that's how I want to address what Bree said. Bree said she's open to dating someone with a child, but you're not going to be a stepmother. So is it that the child just won't be acknowledged in the relationship? I think acknowledge is a strong word. Don't misconstrue it, but as in, how does that dynamic work if you're not going to play some sort of stepmother role, but you together?
You can't talk with her. Let's talk to her as a kid.
Yes, personally, I don't think these men will really try to bring their child around you. So, you for chatting.
We're talking about the serious one then. The serious.
It's a bring up that trouble one then. Bree just tell the man. Said, keep your child.
No, but she said because they don't really carry them around. So she's just.
That's the problem.
But you see, no, yeah.
That's the problem.
That's
why I said serious relationships, because.
Exactly. Because I don't think Bree in that case, because as I say, remember, these things will, if it's a serious relationship, we want to do family outing, we want to do, kids at the park.
And remember, so sometimes he's keeping the child and you may be around.
Depending on how young or old the child is, you need to understand that if they know their mother before, the likelihood of you even being able to get in a relationship with this man is going to be a lot harder. Trust them. But
I don't understand what Bree's saying.
Like
I get what she's saying, because it's a lot. It's a lot to just take up.
She has the idea that, she can get to know the person while they have a child. But once you guys are going to start a relationship, that child is going to come up some way, somehow. I have to go pick up my child and you're in the car. What are you going to say? Drop me off and pick up the child. You don't want the child to me.
Not the line child.
That's going to be too much logistics and it's going to throw everything up.
Why not try to form a relationship with a child?
That's what I'm saying.
Because I would.
Yeah.
She's trying to avoid the complication that's going to come there.
I think.
Because it's not going to be an easy path.
It's not an easy path.
That itself is another complication.
And I think another part of it that I don't think we understand is almost like a double breakup if the relationship doesn't work.
Right.
Because you may have built some familiarity and some fondness with the child, and then fail, the relationship fail, and then you can keep calling the person's child. I mean, it happens. But some people may see it as strange, like, alright, why your ex, and nothing for doing, still calling and checking and visiting the child, So it's just like, it's a very tricky situation, and that's why once children are involved, guys, you have to be more careful with relationships. There's more.
Like, for me,
project.
For me, it all boils down to age. And I will emphasize this to the end. It all boils down to age. Because that child, remember, you have something called conditional learning. So if that child is used to seeing this woman come in every night, and then all of a sudden, they're seeing a different woman coming in. Their brain is going to be like,
what's happening here?
They're going to be confused, what's happening here?
And
it's going to take a while for them to adjust to that.
And sometimes they set as a norm.
And the child is going to be like, where's Mary?
Yeah.
I want to go to Mary's house.
Break off. What then happens?
Yeah.
So then the child also going to end up thinking that they can't trust anyone you bring around them. And then that can potentially affect your relationship with your child. So the age really does matter.
Yeah.
Because I feel like what Bree mentioned is anyone under the age of 13, what Bree mentioned, I would do. Because you are really tampering on very, very, very uneasy grounds with that child and their relationship with their parent there. But above 13, I really feel like, come on, you should have some sort of understanding.
No, but another dynamic as well before we, I don't want to change the topic just yet, but another dynamic when it comes to kids in the relationship is a discipline factor. Because that's also another part of the conversation. Are you allowed to correct my child? Are you allowed to reprimand my child? Are you right? Like that's why I said there's so many factors that we don't think about. Because one day you are good and tell the child, say, no man, you're too rude, and the mother or the father come and say, we pop it in and talk to. But that's not probably ideally how they would deal with it, but because of the moment or the anger or whatever you did, it's now defending my child against my partner. So it's like dynamics that we need to really think about when we're with people. With kids.
There are a lot of dynamics, and you're gonna be like, okay, it's our child now, even though you're the stepmom and whatever. But then at some point you're gonna be telling the guy, oh, you better discipline your child. So on the WhatsApp line we have Carty saying, Bree, that is so selfish. If you take the man at some point, if you're planning a full-time relationship, the kids are gonna come in. So as I say, sometimes we think about things and we just think about the short term. Let me get to know this person. But before you get too deep in the water,
it's conversations
to
have.
Think about, let's say, what happens the next year or next 5 years down the line.
No, and to be fair, once upon a time that was since you like to ask my opinion, once upon a time that was my perspective. I had this rule I would never date somebody with kids, right? And it wasn't because I had any issues with kids. I love kids, but I just never really liked the whole baby mother drama thing, right? Or somebody trying to get back at you or using, you know, or I've literally had friends. I haven't experienced it, but like the mothers have gone out to them way to create problems or make the child say something or make sure you do this in the way there. And I just saw all that, heard all them story there. I was like, nope, not doing it, right?
I know if you have to give her no money.
Exactly, right? Or ask her for this and ask for that.
You know, get your full school fee.
No, and you have a lot of women, that's just the reality. More mothers than fathers. Going on to the father, not that, but more prevalent with the mothers, right? So that was my caution. But then I encountered a friend of mine. She was with this guy that had a son before, and the baby mother drama was there at first, but then the guy sort of like put the woman or put it in her place, you know, not disrespectfully, never attack her or nothing, but it make her know, so listen, she's here to stay, you know, and create a problem in the relationship, and she's gonna be a part of my son's life. So he set that foundation, and it's been working, you know. So I then learned in that moment that it's really the guy that you choose. Him have to set that foundation. So not that you're going to not date somebody with kids. Once again, if the person makes sense.
People don't jump into it because the person looks good or looks ideal. Also consider the situation and whether they can handle it.
Yeah, and now I wanted to add.
Agree that it's all due respect.
Project.
Right?
Yeah.
That a man that really truly wants you or loves you will not put you in a position to make you feel like if you're competing with any other woman.
Exactly.
And that applies even with the child. Because if there is, as you said, if there is someone else in the picture, he's going to say, no, listen, this is who I'm with now and this is who I'm standing by. Regardless of what we had before. You know, I'm not saying you cannot be there. However, through this, maybe this hour and this hour, you can have free time to be with your child. You and your child, not you, your child, me, and her.
Exactly.
Unless we, you know, evolve
into
that type of relationship.
Eventually.
All of us.
But foundations and boundaries.
I don't feel like it is the woman's job to go out of her way to do that for that woman. However, I do believe that when it starts to evolve, now you as the new person, you should take the initiative to create a certain level of relationship with the mother.
I think so.
So there's an understanding of how you want to be, how do you parent your child, and where do I and do I not?
What's my boundaries?
What are my boundaries? So then you prevent the drama of, wait, this is my child. This is this, this is that. But in the beginning, it's really the man's job to do that.
Amen.
The best way is to get everybody on the same team, and the best person to do that is the person connected to all three parties.
Exactly. So we're gonna go to the break. I tell you, that was a hot question. When we come back, we do have more questions in store, guys. We have a whole lot more to cover. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
News Talk 93 FM. Heard everywhere.